So actually, I was out with my cousin, and we were just enjoying a night out one weekend while I was home in Huntsville, and I saw him walk in, and I was like, he looks familiar to me. And so I waved, but I couldn't at that moment actually recall when we had met originally. We had met previously, though, through a mutual friend of ours, Demetrius, Mac. And so that kind of registered to me a little bit later. But after it kind of dawned on me, he actually approached the table. And I remember, like, after our initial meet and greet, he went around and, like, greeted everybody that was at the table with us. I remember after he left, just it being very pleasant and enjoying the experience, the encounter that we had together. And so my initial impression of him was that he was very polite, well-mannered, gentleman. He handled himself well considering the situation. He approached the setting with charisma and confidence, and I like that about him.
Well, she got me over here blushing, y'all. I remember my first impression from Larissa was through D-Mac at her home. It was during a Christmas break before the year I saw her again in the spring of May, May spring. And it was just an honor just to see her, meet her for the first time, because D-Mac would speak so highly of Larissa, and I was just so excited to meet her, and I was nervous at the same time as I met her that day. She left a big impression on me when she was cooking. I don't know why. I was like, she's visiting from Houston, Texas, and she's cooking for her family. And I was like, that let me know that she loves family. And it was a big impression. Of course, she was beautiful. You know, she had me over here blushing. I didn't even want to look at her because she was so beautiful as she was cooking. But that day in December, I was like, I gotta see her again. But I wanted to get a number that day. So going back up to the event when I had introduced myself, I was like, Lord, you're funny. Because he was telling me I was gonna see Larissa again in December, and I didn't see her again until 5 months later. So it kind of was like, I looked up, I was like, Lord, really? You playing, dog, you playing. But I was very excited about that. I really was. And so leading up to that, we got in contact through, start off with Facebook after seeing each other from that evening.
We began communicating back and forth through Facebook, just getting to know each other.
How did I write you, babe?
Friends.
How did I write you?
Originally, it was like, you weren't trying to like slide in my DMs.
Yeah, what I did, I put it on, I commented on the picture. It was like,
you did.
I was like, nice seeing you, you know. I was so excited about it. I was calling Demetrius, and I was like, bro, I don't know, bro, but I don't know how I want to get in contact with her. I don't want to seem cheesy. Don't want to write her in a DM.
Yeah.
So I was like,
on my picture.
I commented on her picture, and I was like, good to see you. And then she comments, go ahead, babe.
And so,
come on, tell her what you did.
Too?
No, you gave me a little emoji. You know, you did, girl. Because I was like, oh, I guess she was looking forward to hearing from me or something.
I was. So.
I was like,
It was good. So our first date was early June of 2017. And my first impression was, okay, how is he going to get in contact with me because he doesn't have my number? And is he going to be late? Is he going to come inside? You know, some of the things that I feel like as women go through our mind, like, how is this really going to happen this first time? I have my own set of expectations, I'll be honest, because at this point in my life, I was wanting somebody that was going to be serious about what we were doing and do it the right way. And so I did expect for him to come and pick me up and come inside. And so, you know, depending on how those things actually went was going to determine if we were going to do this again, just to be honest. And so it went very well. He did show up on time. He did come in and meet my parents, and he took me out. We had a great time. And so I was a little shocked about how much of a great time that we did have on our first date. But my first impression was a good impression. It was.
Yeah, it was.
He was handsome. I didn't mention that. Very handsome that day.
Well, that day, of course, we were writing on Facebook Messenger, of course, and I was just as nervous as ever. I was sweating bullets. I mean, when she said, come inside, come meet the parents, I'm like, well, I feel like I'm in high school going to prom or something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but it was a great opportunity to just go in there and man up. Cause I was like, you know what, I love you, God. I got this, you know. But it was a great opportunity to meet her mother again. As I walked in, they were welcoming. And when I tell you, when I saw Larissa come in that peach romper, oh Jesus, she was so beautiful as she came out. I was just like, wow, this is gonna be a great first date. I was like, Lord, you got me. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. But I just felt like the conversations was just flowing out. It was just getting to know each other. It was just exciting. It was just exciting to know Larissa in a different perspective versus writing her on Facebook Messenger, because the communication was great. I mean, I was looking forward to this first date. So, I mean, I think it turned out great, the first date. So, left a big impression on me. But we just, you know.
So after the date was over, you know, I was hoping that he asked me for my number, but I was like we kind of already said, you know, it was really good. We enjoyed ourselves throughout the night. It went longer, I think, than we had originally anticipated because we were enjoying each other's company so much. I was excited, but I was also like, okay, you know, I just want to be friends. I remember like being so adamant that like this was not going to be anything more. Like, I'm here to tell you that I just want to be friends. Like, I remember saying that. And so I was looking for a friendship. That was important to me. I wanted us to establish a friendship up front before anything else. And so I remember that from the first date. And but overall, like, I was very excited after it was over.
Oh, yeah. All right. So my thought process when I knew that Larissa was going to Virginia, it was like, dang, I was hoping that I wasn't going to fall in love with her, okay? That wasn't my goal. But I ended up falling in love with her for the most part because she was so sweet to me. And I was like, she's going to be in Virginia. She's not going to even think about me. I'm going to be in Huntsville. And I just know she was about to do her own thing. But I just knew in my heart that this was somebody I wanted to be with. And it touched me. It really did. It really touched me. So the God in her really left a good impression on me, a great impression on me, because I trusted God through this process. See, if it was up to me and my flesh, I probably wouldn't have done this relationship. But when I listened and I was obedient to God, he let me know that Larissa was for me. And she knows that when I asked God, I said, Lord, I want a woman that loves you first, not me. And so that left a big impression on how she was so supportive of me. And so when I knew that she was living in Virginia, I said, you know what, babe, I'm going to see you every month while you're in your training. And when I tell you, we were committed to that. Communication, everything, talking on the phone, FaceTiming, reading books together, doing Bible studies together really kept our relationship rolling while she was in Virginia. And I knew it was nothing but God because we just kept it moving. I never gave up. God just showed me every reason why she was my wife. and why I had to stay prayed up during the whole process, and just believing in it, and knowing that she was going to love me and not have any doubt that she wouldn't. So I was just really thankful for just the process of the friendship first, and then it led up to love. Just knowing that we were just friends, and we just communicated. She was so supportive. And then all of a sudden she had just got my heart, and I was like, well, what are you doing? I'm about to love a girl that's about to live 10 hours away from me. He said, don't even worry about it. And he just managed to have me travel to Virginia in the same car I had problems with through the whole summer. And I was still able to drive up there to see her. And so that was a big thing to let me know that God was really in this relationship. And man, I love God for it. And I love Larissa. And I'm so happy that I'm gonna be calling her my wife on 525. So, I mean, that's about it.
So the process of us dating, getting to know each other, courting, it wasn't as easy for me as I thought it was gonna be. The distance was a big thing that was a bit of a struggle in the beginning, especially because we were in different states and different time zones on different schedules, and we really had to be intentional about communication and consistency, and that was a big thing. We definitely had agreed before we left, though, of different ways that we were going to stay connected.
Yeah.
And we started reading books together. We started doing Bible studies together, and like really trying to grow together and learn each other more through building up ourselves intellectually, emotionally. But it also was a time when but I'm going to speak for myself about just like healing from past too. We both had been through different relationships, and when you're growing with someone and getting to know someone, it sometimes will bring up things that you were hurt from in your past. And so through the process, it really took a lot of like prayer and asking God to heal me in areas that I didn't realize that I was still hurt and damaged from, in order to love him the way that I should love him. He deserved to be loved. And I remember really having to seek God for that because I wasn't sure how to date this way and go about this type of relationship. And so the wait was something that we had decided we were going to do, wait until we got married to have sex. That's what it is. And we had to establish boundaries for that. I'll let you kind of talk a little bit about that, babe.
About the boundaries?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to face boundaries. Like you said, we had to heal from our past. And of course, when love comes around, things will get a little difficult. But it was definitely prayer kept us in those boundaries. If it wasn't for prayer and believing, reciting the lush prayer that was provided in the book, The Wait, that we've decided to read. And it was just, we were trying to keep our mind off of things that will lead us to dangerous zones.
That also took, going to different types of places for our dates and being very creative about where we went on our dates, and consuming alcohol and different things that would lead us down to on a road that we weren't trying to go on.
And it was also a learning process through it. I mean, we would by all means, we were not perfect through the wait as far as it could have been if triggered, but we managed to recognize our triggers to not get to that point again when it got hot and heavy, honestly speaking. So we had to really believe that, okay, we know kissing this way or touching this way will get us to a point where we don't want to open those can of worms, because we're determined that we're going to do this process. And so through the wait, we have seen many of blessings because of waiting, managing not to give in into lust and sex. And so when we became obedient to it, we started to see increase, and we're not giving up. We're still going through it.
And believing in the process is it. Like, you have to say that you're going to do it. You have to believe it, and you have to do it. Like, that's it. You have to believe in the process, and it can't be something that's one-sided. We both had to be equally committed to doing this and doing it to the end in order for us to get to that point. And we're still trucking along. But we believe in it. And
So, I mean, it was just part of not doing it yourself and just let God help you. Because if you can't do it on your own. No. Can't do it on your own. No. You're gonna need them. So, and the Lord, I need to be covered in your blood. And, and seriously. And so we had to really just believe that and have faith throughout this whole process, continuing on as you watch this video.
So prior to our engagement, we had decided, also from reading the book, that we wanted to go to pre-engagement counseling, just so that we could talk through some of the things that you talked through prior to being engaged. We knew that we wanted to be married, but we wanted to have those difficult conversations before we said, yes, we want to marry each other, to ensure that we were really on the same page with everything. There was nothing that we were missing. And we thought that would be a good opportunity for those conversations to take us deeper than we had gone. And so we did go to the pre-engagement counseling prior to our engagement. And it was very eye-opening from a lot of different standpoints on just different things and the way that marriage is perceived and the engagement is perceived and how it has to be a certain type of way. And so it was really freeing for me in that perspective of it being special and sacred to us, and it not being something that we're doing for anybody else, or feeling the need to compare to what anybody else has. And so I can definitely say the takeaway from the pre-engagement counseling was, for me, definitely just being freed from the way that the world and society and social media tells you have to be engaged or you have to be married. Because, when you're looking at other people's lives and you really don't know, and you only see the parts of it that they want you to see, and so that can taint your view and have you in your mind imagining or envisioning or expecting different things. And so that really helped me to let go of those expectations and to receive whatever it was that God had for me.
Yeah. So while we were at the counseling, one thing that really dawned on me was the pastor asked me, so Branden, why haven't you asked Larissa to be your wife? I was like, well, I'm working at this job as a part-timer. I'm not making them as much money to give her what she wants, to have a videographer, to have pictures taken as I do this grand engagement. And he was saying, and he said to me, that really touched my heart. He said, love doesn't have a price on it, son. And so that really put everything in perspective for me. Because I knew Larissa was my wife in my heart. But I wanted to do this grand entry. I wanted to be established. I wanted to have this money. I wanted to have it all before I asked this woman to be my wife, because I'm not going to be sorry and have this part-time job when I ask her to marry me. And I was telling myself all of this to keep up with what the world was saying. I was going to allow my friends to dictate how I was going to do it. I was going to see whatever everybody else I saw on Facebook, because they had this great video, those great pictures taken as they proposed to their woman.
And not taking anything away from
I'm not taking it, and I'm not. But I was comparing myself to that. I was trying to set my own standards to that. And so when it was said to me, I said, God was speaking to me during that moment. And it touched me. And I was just thinking, and we're driving to our date to go see Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. We went to go see it for the Valentine's weekend. And during that season, y'all, I was really going through it. I was missing out on one of my closest friends' weddings and everything. But it was a reason why I had to stay put. God had to humble me in that season. And so as we drive to our date, I was crying. I was boohoo crying. I was crying. I was like, after that moment, I was like, she about to be my wife, but I don't know how I'm gonna ask her. So we get there. She was like, do not say anything, babe. Just drive. So we park. And I was like, and she was like, okay. And I'm like, I'm wiping all my tears. I'm done. I'm telling you. And I look at her. I said, Larissa, I love you. Will you be my wife? Will you marry me? And Larissa looks at me and she says, yes. And it was, and I was like, whoa, okay. It wasn't like I wanted to really do it for me, like how I really wanted to do it for the world. I wanted them to see it, but it was very intimate. It was in the parking lot in the car. But shortly thereafter, we look at rings. And of course, I'm like, I ain't gonna be able to put no ring now. But it was a blessed situation because the ring that she thought she wanted on Pinterest wasn't even the ring that she wanted. It was a completely different ring. And I looked at it and I was like, okay. The guy we were working with, he was amazing.
Yeah, he was.
He wasn't trying to sell us the ring. He worked it all out.
He wanted to educate us.
He educated us how to look at a cut, how to do this, what size. Mm-hmm. So fast forward, that following month, my dad dragged me out. He was like, come on, you ain't embarrassed me, son. You better get that girl a ring. You're going to go. So we was able to share that moment with our parents and our brothers and sisters as well. That same night when I asked her to marry me. And when I tell you, I didn't know how they were going to respond. But they were so excited and happy that we were able to share that moment with them. So fast forward, I was able to get the ring and that next month, and I was able to get it in a great, I don't know how God did it. I was able to get that ring, and I was able to surprise her with that ring in March. The 1 month after, when I'm putting in a goal for myself, hey Lord, we're gonna get this ring in August, and I'm gonna give her this ring by her birthday or something at the latest. I had all that set. But God had a different plan.
Yes, he did. Thank you, Lord.
And I was able to get the ring and more. And I was like, Lord, you did all of this. And so I was able to present the ring to her. I marched, 13, babe, to present the ring. But it was just an amazing feeling. Because I was like, Lord, you did all this.
Yeah.
And through that whole season, that following week, I get a call about a job. And be able to get us started as a family. But when you know that God is in your life, when you trust him, and then she trusted God, do what I was just working, you know what I'm saying? Like you believe, right? You know what I mean? When you believe, when you have a woman that believes God and brings it out of you, it's just when you're able to synergize off each other, you know that God is working in your relationship. And he worked in that relationship. He worked within us. And I was like, Lord, she loved me when I didn't have nothing, when my car was broken down. You let me know what true love really is. Not looks like, what really is. From the within the heart, everything. And so that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
Because we believed and we kept our faith. And we're still on it. We're learning each and every day. We learn each other.
And it's funny because like we're a year later now and our lives are drastically different from the way that they started. Like we were just talking about how things were so different summer of 2017. And it's just amazing how when you're not caught up in all of the materialistic things and you can see someone for who they truly are. And babe, you were vulnerable to me. And that was something that I was drawn to because it's a risk. It's risky to open up to someone. It's risky to be vulnerable and allow someone in to actually get to know who you are. And I appreciate that because that's how we were able to connect and allow God to use us through this. But we are in a completely different place today. He has blown our mind time and time again and showed us what trusting him and this process and his plan for our lives and how in being obedient there's favor and there's blessings and there's prosperity. Yes, there have been difficult times, but the good outweighs the bad tremendously, tremendously. And he's shown us that in trusting his process in his plan and being obedient to the way that he would have for us to do this, it's rewarding.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding in another way. And we've been able to experience God's love in another way. And so it's been awesome and we're excited.
Yeah. Well, that's it.